No, it's been a while since the last video. Last semester ended, got 2 A's. Final project was on a research of the transatlantic significance and effects of W.E.B. Du Bois. We got a video or two on it. And I did a comparative analysis paper for Texas history, and it worked out well. It was actually a reading of U.S. history, so it worked out very well. I wanted to take summer classes, but it didn't work out as to where I could do that. So I wanted to keep the intellectual juices flowing, and though this is not a history book, I did find a book that's probably going to take us all summer to go through. The book is entitled The Metu Neter. The author's name, Ra'un Nefer Amen. This book is entitled The Great Oracle of Tahiti and the Egyptian System of Spiritual Cultivation. This is what is known in the Western world as metaphysics. It is the studying, the exploration of being, of connectivity, of reality, of religion, and how these multiple systems function together to ultimately create our experience, and therefore understanding our experience, understanding our purpose. It's this extremely interesting book. Now understand, everything, no one thing has the answer to everything. That being the case, we're reading this particular book for its value and using it accordingly. I will say I've never read a book that in the first chapter was as profound as this book is. It is hard to follow because it's so interesting. Every sentence is a point that is extremely interesting that you feel the need to investigate. And you end up looking up words, and that word sends you to a school of thought, and then you begin investigating that school of thought. It's pretty captivating, but it is not an easy read. I was talking to a gentleman last night who actually met Ra'un Nefer Amen, and he said he only made it about 5 pages into the Metu Nefer, and it was too much for him. You got to have the patience, you got to have desire, and I'm a lot older now reading it than he was when he read it. He said it was about 20 or 25 years ago, which would have put him in his mid-20s. So that being said, the book is so intense and is so big per se. At least it's big in thought, if not big in actual width. I would not do it justice in doing a book review, saying this is the Metu Nefer in 10 minutes, because I am going to still keep the videos to 10 minutes. I got to keep my thought process in order. Remember, a 10-minute video, 10-minute speaking is about 10 pages of writing. The average paper for my program is going to be 10 pages. So if I practice condensing my thoughts into 10 minutes, I'll be better trained into writing 10 pages. That being said, I'm going to try to break this book up into chapters and, if need be, subject matter. So we're about at the 5-minute mark. I'm going to try to touch on the foreword in chapter 1. Now, the first thing I had to look up was metaphysics, because a lot of terms that are used in metaphysics were coming up in this book. And remember, when you're reading any book, history book, whatever, have a dictionary. There are some people that say have multiple dictionaries. I'm good with my phone or having the computer up, and I'll type in the word and make sure that I understand what the word is. I like doing the computer because I can have one tab on the dictionary and another tab on Bing. So if it says this is a term used in metaphysics, I can click on the next tab, what is metaphysics, and I go right into it, as opposed to having to look up metaphysics. Now I have to do this. I can go have one on dictionary and don't have to go back to dictionary when I want to look up another word. So it's just some basic tips. Take it for what it's worth. The foreword took me to the definition of metaphysics. But before that, the author's preface. It started off stating, man is unable to perceive the hidden forces and abstract principles that unify the working of the shaping forces of the world and the entities that make up the world. He creates, therefore, a way of life systems of religion, science, economics, government, education, family, philosophy, etc., that is incapable of establishing and maintaining unity, law, order, peace, harmony in the world. Thus, the world has been plunged and is sinking deeper day by day into the jaws of death. Now, one thing I can say, just in the preface and into chapter 1, as interesting as the book is, as intense as the book is, I have grown very fond of scholastic writing. And I prefer now premise to be supported by other sources. Now, I understand that that's not a full necessity, because every writing is not meant to be a scholastic writing. Some writings are meant to be information that has been gotten through intellect outside of Western organized intellect. And that's something that I have to make sure I don't sink too far into, because generally the sources that we look to verify something are going to be Western approved sources. I don't care if it's referencing the Quran, if it's referencing the Torah, if it's referencing things that have nothing to do with Europeans or Western civilization, but to say the world is sinking into death. What do you mean? What does death mean? Why are you saying that? What are the things that, give me some examples of where you see the world sinking into death. Now, that doesn't mean that you're right or wrong, but at least let me know what you're talking about. It is only when the facts concerning nature or the ideas about religion are linked to each other and to the whole that a science or a religion is formed. Now, this is where, this is the preface, and I see I'm coming up on 10 minutes. This is where it was getting deep. It was saying it's not science that is the answer. It's not religion, that's the answer. It's not culture, that's the answer. First, you have to have an understanding of what these things are, and the connectivity of all of them is where you're going to begin to find answers. We're going to continue with the preface and go into chapter 1 in the next video. Metu Netter. About 40 bucks. It's supposed to come with cards. Mine didn't. I recommend it, and we'll go through it together.